How could Daisy do that? How could she keep Marinda tied in the chair for 8 long years? How can a mother be so cruel? If I couldn't get suspicious, the little girl could have died. She was in the world, but the world was nothing more than a dark room for her. Hey guys, my name is Darlene. I'm going to share the worst experience that I have ever faced in my life. It's a true story about my neighbor Daisy and her daughter. No one can ever wonder that she could do such a crime which I spotted. She is behind the bar now, and she deserves it well. Or doesn't she? Yesterday I met her daughter. She is 29 years old but behaves like a 10-year-old kid. The initial 8 long years she had affected her mind. Isolation for such a long time had made her nerves less receptive. As far as I remember, it was a summer day when I was having lunch with Daisy and her father at their home. It was an unusual invite from her dad. He had to talk about some stock dealings. What a selfish man he was. I needed to use the restroom when we finished his shop talking and lunch. The toilet on the ground floor was out of order, luckily. She showed me the way to the upper floor. Then she paced back to the kitchen, washing dishes. While I was cleaning my hand, I felt a heavy sound. Something fell near the ceilings. What could it be? I wondered. When I told Daisy about it, her facial expression started changing abruptly. Her words weren't making sense. She was stammering. Then she devised that a rat would push the empty boxes to fall. Daisy, a rat? Seriously? How could it be? The sound was heavy. Indeed, she was hiding something from me. When I got back home, I wasn't normal. My brain was constantly roaming in her house. A simple question in my mind oscillated several times. What could it be? I wanted to go back and check it out, but she could never let me inquire about the attic. I started observing her routine. I learned she goes to some instrumental classes on weekends. I made a plan. I went to her house with an excuse about some fantastic business deal with her father. No other way could be possible to please her father. I excused him to go to the toilet, but I made my way towards the attic. Oh my God, a little girl was up there tied in a chair. She could have more weight of bones than of her flesh. Or maybe bones were empty too. It was a living skeleton. Different questions arose in my heart, but my brain wasn't ready to answer even one. I took my phone out and clicked her pictures. Then, filming her surroundings, I left the attic. Daisy's father didn't understand what I had discarded about them, or he didn't tie the girl, but he indeed was involved in it. I left the place. When I reached home, I found myself before the basin. Yes, I was vomiting. I called 911. When the police arrived, we discovered that the little girl was Daisy's daughter, born out of wedlock. She knew that her father would kick her out of the house. Her boyfriend didn't take responsibility for the little girl, so she had to hide the kid in the attic. She provided just enough calories to keep her alive. When a team of social workers arrived, they learned that the kid was afraid, as she had seen so many people for the first time. She was 8 years old and didn't know any of the alphabet. They gave her name, Marinda. Transferring the girl to the hospital, they took charge of her. Meanwhile, Daisy and her father were arrested. Why do we hate such kids? Who was born out of wedlock? If her grandpa would be supportive, it could have made a different life for the kid. Daisy was a teenage mother and her boyfriend was arrested. But does it benefit Marinda anyway? What can we do to stop such suffering?